Sam the wee man. Are you all ready for a hip-hop battle of wits? Good stuff, prepare for some slander. Okay, these are going to be 2 verses each of roughly 2 minutes each. Now, for the purposes of YouTube, this has been filmed. So once more, give it up for Mark Watson! Bye-bye. And make some noise for Yianni! Now, good gentlemen, we'll decide who goes first in the most gangster style possible. Rock, paper, scissors. So after 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, Yianni, would you like to go first or second? First. Make some noise for Yianni! I wish I'd at least prepared. Look at that. He's got a fucking thing he's printed out. He's printed it out. That's right.
You don't need to prepare, you improvised 24 hours on the spot.
It wasn't mostly hip-hop.
Alright. Hey guys, big fringe. Real big fringe. So, yo, what's on? What's on? Well, I tell you, not Mark Watson. Oh, I've been dissed. An obsolete piece of fringe flotsam and jetsam. He's now a fringe tourist. I'm just up for a few days. Long enough to surrender to my wicked turn of phrase.
Why are you talking in that voice?
Well, I'll tell you about it, stud. But Yianni, I know your family is as Cypriot as Pygmalion. But I really could have sworn that you were an Australian. If you want to keep it real, then your own accent is vital. But I will put one on because Mark Watson is my idol.
Surprise! I reversed this. Sid.
Oh, I want to be a Welshman. It'll help my economics. So I'll team up with Rod Gilbert to do a show called Stereo Comics.
He's Googled it.
In that show of 2 Welshmen, Mark Watson was the dregs. There was a real one and a fake one, like Adam Hills' legs.
Yeah! Keep it real! Hills is a cripple!
When you've shamed yourself like that, that is a tough thing to put right. But the old school tie will see him through, because Watson is a footlight.
First. Worked really hard.
And from fringe footlighting to moonlighting, it's all limousines and riders. Funded by commercials from Magnus Pear Cider.
It's 100% pet. Because 0% disappointment. So that is 100. Well, you can do the maths.
Because Stuart Lee was right, you know. You really are a sellout, and you must be bad to move him towards. You know, he's reticent to yell out.
That's a joke, because Stuart Lee, there's actually very few jokes. No, he's good, but fuck me, you have to wait.
He's ushering me through my own diss.
Yeah, see, this is how rap works.
Yeah.
I've got Kanye's album, he's very clever.
But not me, Mark. My mouth's a gun and my bullets are my text. And you better hope you disarm me, because your 24-hour show's next. That's it. That's my first number 1.
One time! Right, so I have to spit lyrics which contradict some of the sentiments expressed by Yianni. Okay, yeah. Oh, and you start to wish you'd done a bit this afternoon. All right.
I wrote one if you want it.
No.
It does
self-esteem is so low, you wrote a rap diss for yourself.
No, it's still this is you, but if you're uncomfortable...
No, fuck that! Bullshit! I'll just improvise rapping against you. I imagine this is how it normally works. Okay. The thing with me is I drop my new shit, it sounds like the best of. And of course that should be sounds like the best of, but the etiquette of rap allows you to drop the occasional S, rightly or wrongly. Okay. So, you didn't like the show I did with Rod. Well, guess what? I'm actually God. That's right. That means I am omnipresent.
Mark.
Nearly always when there's a moon, all you can see is a crescent. Why is there only a crescent when there's a whole moon? I'll probably drop this whole moon riff soon. I think you're really cool because your name is Yianni, but doing the whole show in the conference centre, you must be balmy. It doesn't make sense. You won't be able to sell the tickets unless you do a series of ill-advised publicity ventures like this. That's not really right. Even rappers, they must sometimes be allowed to not rhyme it, but just say a thing. So let's talk about you. Your family is from Cyprus. That's good, that rhymes with fuck all. Couldn't it have been Greece? That would have been a shoo-in. Okay. So let's talk about you. Your family's from Cyprus. My mum is a secretary and she resents it when people call her a typist. Because a secretary is a much more specific skill. My mum has medical knowledge. Cyprus and typist is what we call in literary criticism a half rhyme. Actually, it's not a rhyme. It's what we call in literary criticism not a rhyme. Where are you from? Cyprus.
Melbourne, if it helps.
Yes, Australia! Although you're from Cyprus, you live in Melbourne. Have I been there? Yes, but only seldom. What does seldom mean? It means not that often. This is a problem for me because there's nothing wrong with that either. Yeah, this is going alright actually. The circumstance. Oh, beard. Now, beard rhymes with fucking loads of stuff. Here we go. Watch me mine this gold. You walk around with a moustache and a beard. A lot of people think facial hair is weird. I think it's actually fairly fine, but then I'll have to think about mine. I find my beard is a little bit tufty. People in the army refer to like non-uniform as mufti or something like that. I don't know because I'm not in the army. Your name is, of course, famously Yianni. I don't think the army should have the budget it does because I'm essentially a pacifist and I think it's a very poor use of our national budget. If I were running the economy then towards funding for things like hospitals, I would nudge it. But unfortunately, I don't make these decisions. I don't support the doctors who, in people's skin, make incisions. I actually think the army is fucking disgusting. But there we are. Some people, they have to do that for their own masculinity.
I've done gigs for the army if you want to call me a hypocrite.
Oh no, it's basically fine. Even though most strongly held moral opinions aren't really that robust, apart from Frankie Boy genuinely is cunt. And he really did start it as well. He's been horrible to me. He basically tried to ruin my career. Career? Why am I here? Because everything is fine, basically. Well, let's at least try and finish with some sort of thing about you. Turns out, we've done the beard. I think we can all agree the beard has been well and truly rinsed. Cyprus, what else can I probably normally in rap battles, you don't ask the person to give you stuff that you can use, but...
Cypress Hill!
Cypress Hill is a lovely call. That's very clever. For anyone that thought it is not possible to link Cypriots and rap, they've been proved blatantly wrong. Yeah, okay. You're from Cyprus. We all know about Cypress Hill. I would say that my rap is pretty much ill. You might think that ill is a negative adjective, but actually it's not because the number of people have now reclaim the word ill to be a positive thing. That's actually quite troubling. But I don't think it is actually, because language is pretty much arbitrary. That was proved by a number of people like Levi Strauss and Roland Barthes. That books are basically bullshit, but they are treated like art. This rap is basically for people who did an English degree, like me. I'm really more into like guitar music. Bang! Fuck. Also, your mother.
How do I cover the myriad and unrelated points raised there?
Come, that's why I do the way I do.
That was a rhetorical question. The answer is, I'll do the one that I wrote.
It's a lot of sense, yeah. Oh, so
Alright.
we do 2 each?
Yeah, 2 each.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. You get a shot at redemption.
No, that's not exactly how I see it.
Alright, Mark. In verse 2, I'll keep it brief. Oh, brief.
Well, we call them stanzas in poetry. Carry on.
You had to tell me that word earlier. I didn't know what it was. Verse 2, I'll keep it brief. Oh, brief. Mark, do you know what that is, Chief? We're comics, Mark. We're all quite needy. But 24 hours, Mark, that's just greedy. Now, if you're asking me, a day-long show is quite excessive. But some people find it to be remarkably impressive. Wow, it's so amazing. You mean he's talking for a day? No, it is a 1-hour show. It only feels that way. Boom.
Yeah, for real.
After sitting through your long show, I had lost the will to live. I think it's because your voice is just a natural sedative. Mark Watson is so boring, I saw his audience fall asleep. And not at the 24-hour show, this was up the creek.
And that is a venue in London, so that does have an internal consistency. I have played there regularly, so he's done his work.
I don't play there if you want to use that.
I don't know, mate. My career's going fine. Come on.
Right. Your time is nigh, you little pig, for I doth proclaim it on my pamphlet. And Shakespeare must have known that too, because he dissed you during Hamlet.
Which hit me where it really hurts.
Because, Mark, we know that brevity is the heart and soul of wit, which means your 24-hour show is a soulless pile of shit. Oh! Thank you!
It's not that sort of situation. one time. That's what rappers mutter to themselves. You think... there's quite a lot of stuff I want to engage with there, but mostly by just talking. Okay, so you make fun of my long shows because they lack brevity, but I think there's actually a virtue in longevity. Look at the way we love Sir Bruce Forsyth, even though in a lot of ways he really is odd. If you're an aspiring poet, that's an easy way you can rhyme stuff. You just take the syllable and you just crack on. What else did you address? You basically, that verse was mostly about my long shows.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
There's footnotes down on the floor if you need them.
You think that my long shows lack coherence?
No, just this.
Look at Yianni, he says just this. He thinks that's his idea of a diss. But Yianni is just basically a guy who's about 35. And there'll become a point where none of us is alive. Because of course the universe is finite. I think that is worrying. And I also quite like Marmite. That's right. People think Marmite is love or hate. But it's actually possible to be in the middle of that, mate. Like I basically quite enjoy Marmite. But there's no point in polarising the nation in the way they have with their marketing campaign. Right. Now, when have you ever done anything for 25 hours? You wouldn't even be able to spend that long picking flowers. Your show is 1 hour and no one goes to it. You're a comic that, like, you're fine, but there's loads of comics in Edinburgh. I was nominated for the Perrier Award in 2005. Admittedly, Perrier was quite a sort of immoral brand. Stuart Lee gave me a hard time over the fact that I didn't make myself ineligible for the award. I briefly wished I wasn't alive. But back I came in 2006. I did a show that was full of gimmicks and other tricks to compensate for a shortfall of material. On that occasion I was not nominated, but people came to the show. They were elated. People enjoyed my show. They came back again. I built a kind of fan base. I made some money, which in Japan is called yen. I now have a viable career. Have you got one? Why the fuck are you here? You're just some guy from Australia. You basically, to me, look like a total failure. Melbourne, I've been to a number of times. It is the world's most desirable city, and yet you move over here where things are fairly shitty. Why? Obviously because you're ambitious, but those things are basically more or less meretricious. You are a guy who has a certain amount of ability, but I don't think it'll work out for you. I don't mean that, but this is a fucking rap battle. This is a fucking rap battle, guys. You say things. He attacked me. He claimed that Hamlet was about me or some shit. In conclusion, although we're friends, although we have heretofore been friends, this is quite clearly where the relationship ends, because we have aims which are incompatible. That's a lot of syllables, mind. Because we have aims which are incompatible. Cricket's a game that's played with a bat and ball. There was a time when Australia were good at it, but now the Ashes is embarrassing. Thank you. Not as many cricket fans as I suppose one would have hoped in the circumstances. It's been a very peculiar feeling, really. So in conclusion, and actually, if I thought about it, I could have cracked on about Australian sport a lot earlier, the way the summer's been. Australia were beaten on their own turf by the Lions. But actually, it's more, yeah. What rhymes with lions? Irons, I suppose. Anyone booing at this point has misunderstood the whole situation I'm in. I've massively overachieved given the expectations I and everyone had. If we're talking about who's rapped well, no, it hasn't gone well. If we're talking about whether it's fine, yes, it's just about fine. Australia were beaten on their own turf by the Lions. There's a well-known actor called Jeremy Irons. If Jeremy Irons was playing cricket, then he'd still do a little bit more to defend his wicket than Australia's third batsman, Usman Khawaja, who just doesn't bat very well. He's constantly getting out LBW. Anyway, we've had a lovely night. Later on, there are people that'll be better at this. Hi, everyone. Let me hear you say. I've seen rappers do this. Let me hear you say, what's my name, Watson? Let me hear you say W. But 6 letters of that is diminishing returns. Anyway, fuck you. Thanks, guys. Oh, I want to be Yianni right now.
Hey folks, that was excellent. Give it up for both competitors! Ladies and gentlemen, get to decide the winner based on audience reaction. So first of all, give up for Mark Watson! Now make some noise for Yianni!